I sing the body electric. I gasp the body organic. I miss the body remembered. Welcome to Night Vale. Even as much of town has been in flux, listeners, there is also much that has remained solid. It's hot here, for instance. It's a desert. There are still lights in the sky above the Arby's, and we still understand them. The sun is still rising and setting loudly on most days, but nearest and dearest to my heart, among all the constants in life, is WZZZ, our local numbers station, broadcasting from that strange and tall antenna built out back of the abandoned gas station on Oxford Street. It still broadcasts a monotone female voice, reading out seemingly random numbers, interspersed with chimes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No transfer in ownership of most of the town, nor unrest in the streets, nor declared war by a tiny civilization under a bowling alley could change how it operates. Until today. It changed. Here, listen.
23, 92, 33, 67, 88, 41, 41, 40,
At which point the broadcast ceased. It has been silent since. What does this mean? Where did the numbers go? We reached out to the management of WZZZ for comment, but then realized we still have no idea who manages it. So we reached out in general, directing questions out into the still of today, at suspicious birds, at passers-by checking their phones, at ourselves, hunched over breakfasts that, every time, we swear will be early and leisurely, but always end up late and meager. No one has provided any comment. We will continue to monitor the situation. As her term approaches its end, Mayor Pamela Winchell has taken to calling emergency press conferences as much as 5 times a day, up from the usual 1 or 2. Her most recent one involved her showing attending reporters slides of Renaissance-era portraits while explaining, "Health is very important. Remember exercise. Think back on times that you've moved or expended energy. Also remember eating. Recall food and what it was like. Remember sleep. Reminisce about rest. Drink plenty of water, but leave some water in case of fire." She then slumped onto the rough-hewn speaker's podium. "I'm going to miss this," she whispered, not speaking at anyone in particular. "I'm just going to miss this." She ended the conference by popping hundreds of orange balloons, methodically, and with her back turned to the audience. But, despite this big finish, onlookers commented that her heart no longer seemed to be in such showy political stunts. What is next for our beloved mayor, who is stepping down in just 3 months' time? What is next for any of us? Death. presumably, with some stuff before that. I look forward to it. And now a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is Hulu.com. Hulu. Let's talk about watching things. Let's talk about watching rather than actually watching. Let's think about, talking about, watching a second-hand experience. Let's continually abstract ourselves from what we believe is the world. Hulu. The pulsing life of your body is an undeniable fact. But deny it anyway. Looking for the answers to all of life's problems? We recommend obstinate denial. Accept no substitute. Accept nothing. Hulu. Water circles the drain of our planet, always coming back for one more go to see if this cycle it will be different. It will not be different. The sky will break open and water will fall. One more time. One more time. Hulu. The terror you feel in quiet moments is not misplaced, just mistimed. Hulu. 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 Hulu.com. Sign up now and get the latest episode of an update on our earlier story. Local numbers station WZZZ has resumed its transmission, although the format is a little, different than before. Take a listen.
Tree-lined hills and blue skies. Or no, that's cliché. A bird in flight. Even worse. When we talk about freedom, we restrict ourselves to so few images. Images of freedom should be as liberating as the feeling itself. I want to talk about freedom as a drum set being thrown down a hill, as opening a book one night and water gushing from the pages until my life is a lake and I swim away, or as a bird in flight, with all the dependence on physics and exhaustion and food supply and merciless gravity that the actuality implies. I just don't want to talk about freedom in terms of numbers. Anything but that. I'm so tired of numbers. I'm so tired.
We don't know what this means or why it is happening. I could say, referring to anything in the world. Although, in this case, I am referring specifically to the broadcast from our friendly local number station, which has recently so radically changed its format. More on this as we develop understanding. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. I got another email from our former intern, Dana. She's doing her best to keep away from the mountain and the blinking light up on it. Of course, she keeps finding herself coming back to it anyway. But, like anyone who grew up in Nightvale, Dana has been told over and over again what to do if you find yourself in a geographical loop, continually returning to the same place, no matter which direction you run screaming. The first step is to stop running and stop screaming. Doing that rarely helps. Children are also taught this simple memory device so we can remember when running and screaming is useful. The memory device goes like this. Knife. The second step is to stop trying to move away from the focus of the geographical loop. Much of your life is already taken up in futile action. Why add one more? Instead, keep the object on your horizon and walk diagonally to the right or left of it. This will result in you keeping a wide, even circle around the center of the loop, or vector H, as we all remember singing as toddlers. And this will give you time to consider your situation. Dana has followed these steps admirably, and says that the mountain has been off to the left of her for weeks now. She also says that sometimes when she turns her head, she finds herself in Night Vale, but that no one can seem to see or hear her. It's possible she's in the room with me right now. If so, hello, Dana. If not, hello retracted. One should never leave a hello unreceived. Dana says that the great masked figures, warlike, hulking, but despondent, have been coming closer and closer. She says she is not afraid. She says this 5 different times throughout the email, seemingly unaware of her repetition. I think, listeners, that she is afraid. She says that soon she will approach and talk to one. Dana, be careful. I think to myself, unable to answer her email. Oh, unless she is here, watching me unseen. In which case, Dana? Oh, Dana? Be careful. An update on our local numbers station, WZZZ. Well, I'm not sure if numbers station is the right term anymore. The broadcast has been changing so radically throughout the day. Right now, for instance, it's, well, maybe it's better if you just heard.
Tiger, fire, dancing through the fire, and I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar, louder than the lion, 'cause I am...
We don't know if this is part of a nefarious plan, if there is a plan at all, nefarious or otherwise, who would have planned it, and what they were planning for. We do know that plans are faulty at best, and delusion at most. So maybe all those other questions don't matter. In any case, she seems to be having a good time over there. Maybe someday I'll be allowed to sing a couple of my favorites on the air. More on this as I continue to be interested in it. Let me take this moment to apologize for that lengthy monologue just now by the man in a tan jacket holding a deerskin suitcase. He ran in here and began ranting into the microphone and then left quite suddenly. I don't even remember what it was he said. Do you? It was only just moments ago. You do remember him talking, right? Oh, and I think I remember that it sounded really urgent. I don't even remember what the man was wearing or carrying with him, or that it was even a he, or that any time had passed at all. And that concludes whatever I was just saying before this sentence. We bring you back now to the numbers station story we were talking about just, well, it looks like 10 or 15 minutes has passed since we talked about it. How did that happen? Here is the latest broadcast from WZZZ.
Hello? Hello? I am talking to you who listens. To the listening ones. Whatever you call that. I am... well, I'm not sure exactly. I've made up a new name. I am Fey.